Imagine for a moment that you're a cedar tree. You're planted at exactly the same time as all the other trees in your forest. You're the same biological age, the same height. There is nothing which differentiates you from the others. Now imagine someone coming along in the middle of the night and pouring growth formula around your roots. Suddenly overnight you shoot up several feet in height. It feels amazing, doesn't it? And you cannot wait to tell all the other trees. As it is still the middle of the night, you build up an expectation that all the other trees will feel the same joy and excitement you felt. When daylight comes, the other trees look at you, but rather than get excited as you imagined, instead they become envious and jealous. You hear them whispering among themselves, saying, "How can this be? Why haven't we changed? What is so special about you?" That day was the longest day of your life. You spent it in silence, watching the other trees looking at you, and it made you feel uncomfortable. It made you feel rejected. You did not push them away. You did not reject them. They rejected you. The only reason that they rejected you was because you are different. Occasionally you would hear their comments and their laughs, and you start to think that you would have preferred not to have grown so quickly. In fact, you started to think that you would have preferred not to have grown at all. That night you slept alone under the stars, and for the first time that whole day you looked up. You looked around at a sky that was filled with stars. You could see stars you had never seen before, stars that you never knew existed. In fact, you could see further than you had ever could see before. You are so excited, and once again you think how nice it would be to share that with the others. But then you remember their reaction. It suddenly dawns on you that you will never be able to share your experience with those trees that have not experienced the same thing you have. You suddenly become fearful that you're going to be alone your whole life. So you decide when morning comes you're going to pretend to be the same height as the other trees. When morning comes, the stars fade away, and in their place is a scene of such beauty. There is a waterfall, mountains, creatures you have never seen before. It's so exciting. The sun is shining, and you suddenly realize that you live in an incredible place. For the first time in your life, you feel grateful. Grateful that you could see and appreciate the beauty that is around you. When you were the same height as all the other trees in the wood, all you could see were them. They surrounded you like an impenetrable wall, restricting your view. Now you have such a spectacular view that you want to share it with the world. But there is nobody that can appreciate what you've seen. Then it dawns on you. You have the growth formula. You can make some more and pour it onto the trees around you. That night, without telling the other trees, you pour some of the nearest neighbours, and in the morning they're the same height as you. They see the same things you've seen and can appreciate the beauty you've seen. You are not alone, and now you feel an even greater joy at being able to share your experience with others. Then it occurred to you that you always have to be growing in order to appreciate the view that you once had, because if you stay at the same height, and all the other trees around you grow to the same height as you, all you'll have to look at is the trees. The moral of the story is that you always have to be growing, and you always have to help others grow too. You grow by applying growth formula to your own roots. That growth formula is knowledge. You help others to grow not by pouring growth formula on them, but just from being who you are. You make them want to know what you know, see what you have seen, experience what you have experienced. When you do that, you're utilizing the law of attraction. If you were to pour growth formula on someone, it is an act of coercion. You're trying to make them do something that A, they are not ready to do themselves, and B, forcing your will onto the life of another, which violates the law of free will. Unconditional love works with free will to create self-organizing systems where there is complete freedom, a kind of freedom none of you have ever experienced here. Freedom is not something that you can give somebody. Freedom is something that you have to achieve all by yourself. Remember, growth requires fuel. And if you make love your fuel for growth, you will always be the tallest and most beautiful tree in the woods.